So we're up to the exam practice tonight. So doesn't matter what you're up to in terms of the other exercise that we've been doing. Good idea to do it tonight as a group together. That way then you can ask me as many questions, but it's nice to be able to sort of do it from the start of the class to the end. It gives you a really good idea of how you're going, how long you think you'll take to do the exam, and if there's any bits in there that you sort of can't solve yourself after about 10 minutes, put your hand up and I'll come over and point you in the right direction. But have a little go at trying to remember those and practice. They'll think, oh, is it that? Is it that? Don't just say, oh, I don't want to touch it. Have a little investigation. And they'll be the bits that then you sort of say, right, I resolved that. That's fine. I know I can work through that. Or I couldn't resolve that. It was going to take me much longer than I anticipated to do it. Ask the question, I'll help you out, and then you can take some notes. So remember, any notes you want to take, you can bring them into the exam, absolutely. So there might be a bit that you get to and think, this is the step that I really forget to do. It might be something to do with that roof and a gable end. I always forget to untick define slope. So this is the notes that I'd be making, so that then when you come to it on the night next week, and you can start going through and say, this is the bit I've got to check with my notes. There's nothing wrong with that. That's standard what you would do if you were learning a new program in an office. Have your own notes. You don't bug everyone else in the office all the time with the same question. And the more that you refer to your own note, becomes memory, then you do it. So often there's things that we only do once or twice a project. It's not a repetition type command, and they're the things that sometimes take a while to remember, because you only get to it again at the start of another project. What was that step? That's what I would tend to do, is have my notes about those sort of procedures. So it might be setting up levels, whatever it is for you. So I'll just quickly go through the program, especially for the people that are sort of watching at home, where we're at. So we're in the semester students bit, so we're right down to the fourth tonight here. So we're up to the exam revision, and so next week when we come in will be the exam. Now the exam, I've said it a few times now, is almost exactly the same as what you're going to do tonight. However, there's less instruction. So if you get everything right tonight, you're not having to use the instruction too much. You'll be absolutely fine. Everyone that's done the exam practice and got through pretty well in the time frame the week before the exam in the past has got through the exam no problem. There's no extra bits thrown in there to make it difficult or trick you out if you can get through. It's just a process. So by assessing it, we know that what we've taught you, the outcomes for this unit, to have that basic knowledge and be able to do, we know by doing it in 3 hours, you have that understanding and you can move forward to the other classes, etc. So Revit Intermediate next semester, etc. So once we've done that next week, it's really just applying the rendering concepts exercise and doing that, and you can come into class. So there'll be 3 more sessions and then there won't be any class. If you've done the rendering concepts task at the before that night, then you don't have to come on that last session. Okay, so we really got 3 more sessions, but you may have done that one last week or whatever, so then you've only got this week and next week left. When we get to the assessment next week, what I do is you'll submit it on Learn. So when you finish the PDF, exactly like sort of you've done tonight, but you'll just check your drawing, check your PDF, submit it on Learn. What I suggest on the night is when you've finished and you say I've submitted it, come up and tell me, because everyone will finish at different times. So I've just submitted. I actually open it up here, look at it quickly with you, and just make sure there's usually there's probably about 10 things that people could miss that I know that is sort of the usual things. I'll just quickly check yours before you go. So if there's still half an hour, I might say, if you just go back and change this, this and this and resubmit it, it's done. Rather than me then mark it the next day. I'll still mark it properly the next day, but if there's little bits that might be all you need, saves you having to come back in and resubmit and wait for the email and all that. So I'll hopefully be able to check most people's on the night, and you'll pretty well know how you're going. So the practice is in the short Revit short exercises section, and it's just down the bottom after the 2-story, which is it visible on yours yet or not? Not there?
Exercise 2, start project.
So if everyone just hits F5, the F5 key now, you should see in that short exercise bit down the bottom somewhere that says exam preparation exercise, and then you'll say use this procedure document to complete the exercises. So there should be an exam practice PDF V7 there. Open that up on one screen. That's your procedure document, and the other sheet there, is that there? Is there another sheet there? Yep. That's actually the A3 example of what what it's going to look like at the end. So you can just have a bit of an idea. Okay, that's what we're aiming for. So put your views in the same order. So try to have that same 3D view angled like that. Obviously the floor plans there, and the 2 elevations. Remember a little bit of information on the title block, so the name of the drawing, etc. You can put your initials in the drawn by as well. Just practice updating that title block a bit. In terms of the procedure document, once you sort of start to go through, you'll see some of the steps, that we've gone through quite a few times now, right down to options, saving your files down to 2 backups and that sort of thing. Pretty standard sort of stuff. Probably, some of that stuff won't be in the actual assessment. Like, it'll give you the prompt to save the options, but it might not show you all the screenshots to where they are. Same with establishing the levels. Once you go through and do all that, it might not actually show you the buttons to press. So just bear that in mind. You can, if you want, through the week, if you want to do any more preparation, is you can print this out and put your own notes that you've written tonight on this, so it's next to it. So if you need any snips or any prompts and things like that, because that way you've just got some notes there that are actually going to help you with your normal procedure. So whether it's a new project you're doing at an office or you're drawing your own home, it might be that I always forget which tool to use to set up the levels, because you only do it once a project. So write that down, because I can guarantee when I learnt, 10 years ago or whatever, that's what happened when I got in the office. Oh, what was that? And I just had lots of notes. So work your way through, that's right, that's that bit. And after a while, go to that note 10 times. You don't go back to it because you've done it enough times to know you're almost imagining what you're reading on your own notepad. So go through that one and see how you go. And as I said, don't spend more than 10 minutes, I reckon, trying to resolve something yourself. Just put your hand up tonight. Next week you won't be able to ask that many or any questions, but just use it tonight. Cool? Go for it.